friend of mine, Brett Eidman, and I just want to say thank you for once again accepting my request and being on my talk show.
No problem. It's great to be here with you again after 2 years.
Yeah, it's been a long time, and for the longest time I was using my video quality from the phone, so I record from the phone to the camera. That was all season 1. Season 2 would be about recording the camera image, what the camera saw from the screen, so I'm recording from the camera, from the computer. And now season 3, luckily I got my head out of my ass, I got Skype Recorder. Skype Recorder is basically like what Fox News and CNN uses. It's in HD, it's split screen, it's a better quality. And a lot of people said to me, why didn't you do this from the start? And I'm like, well, I wanted to show everyone there was a struggle, there was a transition from point A to point B. I didn't want to do this from the beginning, even though that would have been nice. But I wanted to show people there was a transition. How would season 1 be different from season 2? Okay, how is season 2 got to be different from season 3? But the whole point of my talk show, as I've been saying for 284 interviews, thanks to you, is to show people that even if we weren't in disability, I'm able to turn myself into a perfect example for people out there dealing with any types of disabilities or learning disabilities. But you should never give up, and you should prove people wrong. As my new catchphrase is, no matter what, prove people wrong. And I interviewed actors, actresses, models, CEOs, you name them, I got them. And before we got started, you made a joke about the picture frame. And to tell you a funny story about that, I know a lot of people can see it, but I have Malena Perez, I have Velvet Sky, empty picture frame, and Ashley. And you notice why Ashley?
Ashley?
Yeah, it's Ashley.
Oh, Ashley?
I can always, I swear when I talk, it's called Ashley.
Oh, okay. I'm just getting excited with what you said. I thought it was a different name that I never heard of. Okay.
The beautiful and talented Ashley.
Oh, they all look beautiful.
Oh, absolutely. And the reason she's in a bigger picture frame is because I brought it to Staples, and I told Staples, it says, I need an 18 by 21. And I got it laminated too. Wow. And that's an 8 by 10. When I got it, it wouldn't fit in the picture frame. It's kind of like, this is not an 18 by 21. He's like, oh, bring it back and bring the original picture. I'm like, you just laminated the original picture, therefore you can't scan it. If you scan it, it's got to look like shit. Right. So that is now a 26 by 31. I was like, you know what, next time I'm going to give them the picture frame and say, here's the picture, make it fit. I don't know, some people you have to hold up flashcards, but that's not an 18 by 21. So that's why there's an empty picture frame. I have to wait till either Ashley, Malena, or Velvet comes back to Middletown Thrift Market, do an autograph signing, or whoever comes to do an autograph signing. And actually that brings up a good point. Have you ever done, in going back, I want this to be different as in season 1, season 2, so you can ask me hard-hitting questions. I'm going to ask you the same without going on a royal rant. Have you ever gone into any autograph signings, and would you like to go do autograph signings?
I'm not big into autographs. I used to be as a kid. I don't find it that interesting anymore. I also I don't like go out of my way to meet celebrities. I'd rather watch them work. If I watch a professional athlete, I love it. Watch a professional hockey player or baseball player, whatever. Watch them do their thing. I would enjoy that more than actually getting their autograph. I like to watch people showcase their talent. I'm a big Bruce Springsteen fan. Getting his autograph, I mean, that would be okay, but I wouldn't go out of my way. I know, like when you go see a Broadway show, people wait outside for the entertainers to come out and to get their signatures and stuff. I had no interest in doing that. Would I like to work with these entertainers? Sure. Do I want to do a movie with them? Do I want to do a movie with Robert De Niro? Sure. Do I want Robert De Niro's autograph? Maybe if I did a movie with him and he signed the script or something, then I would say, wow, that's really cool. I work with De Niro. I have his signature on the script. That's something that I kind of like. But if it's just an autograph, doesn't really do anything for me. Like those pictures that you have behind you, those beautiful women, they're great with and without the autograph. They're beautiful. So yeah, I mean, like I saw a girl that I went to high school with on Facebook, and she was all excited about waiting outside the Broadway show that Bruce Willis is in. I guess Misery. He's a star of Misery on Broadway, and she waited outside, for his autograph and got his autograph on the playbill. And she was all excited because she said, "Oh, I met Bruce Willis and everything else." Well, yeah, you did meet him, but with me, I would rather I'll go to dinner with him. I like to work with him. I like that, but to wait outside for him just to sign my playbill, that doesn't excite me. It doesn't do it for me.
So, like for a perfect example, what we're doing versus just getting into your autograph. Like if you never met me and I ask for your autograph, it's kind of like okay, but now we're actually working together. Now that's different. Is that kind of like what you were saying?
Sure. Oh, well, if somebody asked me for an autograph, which has only happened a couple of times in my life, I certainly would never say no to somebody. I would never say, no, I don't do, just because I'm not crazy about autographs, like to go and get an autograph, that doesn't mean I wouldn't give an autograph. I mean, I'd be tickled pink if somebody asked for my autograph because that means that they know something that I did. I did get pranked at the Connecticut, the aquarium in Connecticut, where is it? In Mystic, Connecticut. Somebody came up to me and asked for an autograph and asked for a picture and said that they were a big fan of mine and all this other stuff. And I was like, really, wow, this is really cool. 5 minutes later, he comes up to me and says he's a friend of a friend, and it was just kind of like a prank. But meanwhile, I thought I was like hot stuff for like a couple of minutes. But it was a lot of fun. It was a good prank, and they got me. So yeah, I mean, whatever makes people happy, that's fine. I mean, I just want people to be decent. If a friend of mine went up to Bruce Springsteen at a Yankee game and asked for an autograph, and Bruce said to him, I really don't want to do it right now because it would create a scene. And I appreciate you coming over and saying hello, but if I sign an autograph, then for the rest of the game, I'm going to have to be signing autographs. I won't even be able to watch the game. So that's understandable. He wasn't like, get the hell away from me. He was decent about it. And he says, and he's absolutely right, because if somebody sees him signing an autograph, everybody's going to look over and say, who's that? And they're going to say, oh, that's Bruce Springsteen. So what he did was cool. So there's a nice way of handling things, and there's a shitty way of handling things. Like if you just say to somebody, I'm not signing an autograph, get away from me. Like that's just rude and nasty.
Well, two things you brought up. I would like to talk to you about. Then I'm going to pass the show over to you. Like I said, you can ask me anything. Gloves off. The reason I have the pictures on the wall, Malena, I didn't ask Velvet, I should have, but Malena and the beautiful and talented Ashley, it's because those two, and I asked Ashley if she can do a personal message for me, but Malena surprised me, and she wrote a personal message for me, so it meant a lot to me. So it isn't just an autograph. It's a personal message that I explained to her. I basically walked up to her and introduced myself, saying I'm a talk show host, and It's about showing people's disabilities and the whole speech. And see, next thing I know, she wrote this heartfelt message, and I was like, this is why I love you. This is why I fell in love with your character. You're a great person, and you took the time to write that message. So then I came up with the idea, saying, well, if I'm pouring my health, if I'm pouring my heart out to you guys, let's make it a little different. Let's make it a little special. And like you said, why just get an autograph? Yeah, that's fine, but make it something different that you're gonna be remembered. So I met Ashley, and I did the same thing. Introduced my I can't even talk. I introduced myself, invited her to be on the show. She said she signed a contract with a CBS or something, and she couldn't breach a contract. And I was like, okay, I understand. Maybe one day I will be working for CBS, and
Right.
we be on the same network, or have my own talk show in person. And I understand, right now I'm in the beginning stages, so people are kind of hesitant. But she wrote a personal message, and I was gonna ask Velvet, but I didn't want to push my luck. I didn't want to be an ass, saying, "Hey, can you write me a personal message?" It's like I didn't want to do that because I just met them. And, making a first impression is a lasting impression. And, that's why I have it. But you mentioned people who are very ungrateful, people who are selfish. You mentioned Bruce Springsteen.
Right.
How the guy walked up to him and says, hey, can I have your autograph? And says, look, I'm at the game. I mean, no disrespect. But if I do it for you, then I have to do it for a couple other hundreds, 1,000 people around me.
The whole stadium.
And it wouldn't be fair.
Right.
But, you shake my hand or, just thank you for coming over to me. That's fine.
Right.
There's a story about, if I sniffle, I apologize. Like I said, I'm still getting over something. There's a story about Bruce Willis, where a 10-year-old kid walked up to him and says, I'm a big fan of yours. Can I have your autograph? And he basically said, get the fuck away from me, or I don't have time for you. Now, that's a big difference from a big-name star. They're both big-name stars.
Right.
Bruce Springsteen and Bruce Willis. But how you present yourself and how you treat others says a lot about your character.
It says everything. There's I always believe in saying yes unless I have to say no. I also there's a nice way of saying no to somebody, and there's a rude way. Like the woman that you just mentioned that says that she's got something going on with CBS and all this other stuff. It doesn't matter whether or not that's a true story. But the bottom line is that she communicated to you in a it wasn't the answer that you wanted to hear, right. But she said something nice. Years ago, I met the guy. Do you remember the TV show Family Ties with Michael J. Fox?
Yes.
Okay. I met the producer of that show's brother, who runs a camp in Pennsylvania. So I told him years ago, this is like a million years ago, I told him I'm trying to get into, acting and sitcoms and whatever. And I said, could you please put in a good word for me to your brother? And he said, yes. He says, matter of fact, you should, send him some stuff. So I said, okay. So I sent him a resume and a picture and a nice letter and the whole deal. About a week later, I get a phone call. I'm out jogging, and my mom comes out of the house, and she says, hey, Brent, come in. Gary David Goldberg's office is on the phone for you. And I'm like, wow. So I run in, like I'm out of breath. I answer the phone. And I'm like, hello? Hello? And they said, oh, this is whatever her name was from Gary David Goldberg's office. We received your materials. Gary said, thank you very much. He has to go out of the country for a while, and he's working on another project. He won't be able to meet with you, won't be able to do anything for you in the near future. He wishes you a lot of luck, and maybe down the road, you could do something, But I was disappointed because it wasn't the answer that I wanted to hear.
Right.
But they didn't have to call me. They didn't have to be nice. they didn't have to, but they were a class, he's a class act. I mean, he passed away now, but he ran a class. He that's the way you deal with people. And that was just a nice thing for them to do, to follow up with me and just say, we won't be able to do anything, but, we just, wanted to tell you that we received your stuff and that, he wishes you the best of luck. That's a nice way of saying no to somebody. And I was a fan. So then when I saw him like on TV shows or whatever, like being interviewed about family ties, I would always watch and say, there's a nice guy. So, there's different things. We were talking about autographs. There's a story about Jim Carrey walking out of a movie theater and somebody asking for his autograph. So he said, sure. He signs an autograph. Then somebody else came up. He signs another autograph. He ended up signing autographs for 2.5 hours. So he says, then he finally looks at his watch. He says, oh my God, I got to get home. So he kind of like leaves the scene. And there was one person, that didn't get his autograph. And that one person starts yelling at him that he's a prick and he's this, he's that. Like you didn't sign my autograph. That one guy is like, now he's nasty to him because he feels like he was ripped off. But meanwhile, Jim Carrey was there for 2.5 hours. So you can't win. So for the one person that didn't get his autograph, they're pissed off at him. But meanwhile, it shows that Jim Carrey's a nice guy. He's a decent guy. He appreciated his fans. But, it's almost like clicks let's say keep it as a clique. Like when you're in school, you have your football players are one clique, and then you have your people in the drama club is another clique, and then you have your geeks, they're in another clique, and you wish like you can get into a clique, and you don't like that clique because they don't want you in the clique. It's almost like politics suck unless you are in the circle. Like, oh, I can't get in there because it's all politics. Well, it would be fine if you were in the group and you wouldn't care. You'd like the politics then. So, what do? You do the best that you can, but there's no reason to not be a decent person towards other people. As far as I'm concerned, I mean, some people may not think I'm a decent person. That's, you can't please everybody. You could try, but it's not going to happen.
No, absolutely. People would say the same thing to me. I'm an asshole. I'm a hypocrite. I'm this. I'm bad. But you know what? If I have to die, I would like to. And I've been saying this for a long time, and a lot of people make fun of me for this. It's the thought that matters. It doesn't matter if it's big or small. I want to go the extra mile and make a difference in my life. Because when I die, I would like to be remembered for someone who made a difference. And, a lot of people make fun of me for that. A lot of people criticize me, for a talk show and a whole bunch of other crap. But he's like, what? One's not my karma. Two, I do a lot of stupid things. And I am a good person, so yes, it does bother me that I do stupid things. But I don't say, today I'm going to do something stupid. Right. I don't plan on it. It just happens. I'm like CM Punk. I'm straight edge. I don't drink. I don't smoke. I walk to the beat of my own drum. And do I do things that are questionable? Yes. But is there any hidden agenda behind it? Is there any motives that people might be concerned about? Absolutely not. I do the right thing. I'm doing the talk show, yes, a little bit for myself to say, hey, I have a learning disability, and you label me as this and this for all my life. But it's my way of proving to them, you're wrong, and this is my way of giving back to other people with disabilities. I'll give you a perfect example. I recently interviewed, I don't remember his first name, but his name, so he was Mr. Evans. Mr. Evans is a good friend of mine. He's paralyzed in a wheelchair. He's a paraplegic. And, I joked to him, and it's like, you have a really cool wheelchair, because it lights up. It has like a green neon light. And I said to him, he just said, "Hey, you may think I'm an asshole, but if I was like you and I have to be in that chair for the rest of my life, I would make that chair the coolest chair ever. I would put rims on it. I would put different lights on it." And he didn't get upset. He thought it was the most funniest thing ever. He said that was funny. I didn't take any disrespect. And it's true. There's a lot of sensitive people out there. But the reason I'm talking about Mr. Evans is he's a filmmaker. This guy is paralyzed. He can't move out of the chair. He's in a power chair. But this guy, it's more of an inspiration than I am. Even though I am an inspiration, but this guy, it's more of an inspiration because he's in a wheelchair. He's a filmmaker. He worked on big name films. I think he was I don't remember, but I think he worked as an extra in a couple films. But this is a guy in a wheelchair who people say you're never going to amount to something like for me. But he works in California and Hollywood on different feature-name films. That's amazing for someone in a wheelchair.
Right. My dad, who passed away like 9 years ago, had polio, and so he was handicapped. And but there was nothing, there was nothing that he was set out to do. That he wasn't going to take no for an answer. And he worked in the insurance business to the day he died, and provided for his family, and he was limited. He was limited in what he could do physically, but he never let his handicap get in the way of him being able to support himself and support his family. And those people are, you have to admire them, and we all have, we can't all be great at something, and we can't be great at everything. We have to just find what we can be great at, and your friend, in the wheelchair could be great at one other thing. I mean, he may not be able to play in the NFL, but he could possibly go on the computer and be a genius on the computer. I mean, there's a world of opportunities out there. You just have to find what you can do. And that was the biggest fear my dad had, was that he wouldn't be able to provide for his family. That's a real, that's a major fear. That's the one thing that scared the life out of him. And he.
So uncensored. I didn't mean to interrupt. I apologize. But it's uncensored. Be honest.
What's that?
It's uncensored. He can be honest. Say whatever you want.
Yeah. No, I'm trying to keep things. I'm trying to keep cool. But because he also remembered a time before that, during the Great Depression, that his dad lost his job during the Great Depression, and it was like the only time he ever saw his father cry, because he felt that he wouldn't be able to support his family. So, you have to do what you have to do to live and to do things, and things are not easy, and you have to try to find your niche. I mean, I'm at a point in my life where I'm trying to find different things that I can do, that makes sense, that I'll be able to continue supporting, my family and stuff like that. It gets rough at times. But you shouldn't let a disability, because I think everybody has a disability. It may not be obvious, but there's something there, because we're not geniuses in everything that we do. I saw a poster the other day, and what did it say? It said, like, you could do anything that you want. You could be anything that you want to be. I think that's kind of bullshit, because I can't be a professional ball player. I can't be a professional ballet dancer. There's a lot of things I can't be. But I understand where that poster is coming from, that hard work, determination, and using your head, you can be something, and try to, work up or get to your potential, whatever that potential is. I mean, we all have a potential, and it's at different levels. so you have to try to live up to your potential. And I think that people that don't live up to their potential, that's a shame. And if your potential is selling shoes in a shoe store, that's okay. If that's your potential, if that's the best that you can do, there's nothing wrong with that. But being less than that, there is something wrong with that, as far as I'm concerned. And if you have the ability to get there, then try to get there. Don't sell yourself short. I'm doing your show because I like you, and I also think that what you're doing is a good thing. And you know, but I'm not really doing it for any other reason. I'm not trying to manipulate or maybe if I do this I could do that and everything. I mean, I did something recently for a person that I met online that I thought was a decent person and a really nice person. I didn't know that he was running a scam, and because I give people the benefit of the doubt, I try to start out with a clean slate and I try to think that they're good people until they prove otherwise. So he was running a charity, and he was starting it up, and it was for children and for different things. I found out later that he was just taking money from people and putting it in his pocket, and he wasn't giving it to the children and giving it to the charity that he established. And I did a video for him, telling people to get involved with this charity, and it's a scam. And I had no idea because I just wanted to do a nice thing for him. So we also have to be careful, And I looked it up online, and I didn't see anything bad about it. I didn't see this, and then somebody contacted me and said, "By the way, you did a video for this guy who's a scam artist." And I said, "Well, I didn't know." So, and then there's other things that come up that I tried to be careful about, that I don't want to be associated with something that I think is not right, and or that could damage my career. So I just have to be careful to do things that seem like they're right. And sometimes I see opportunities that I'm like, you know what, that's not going to be good for me. Or there's something about it. I was supposed to have an interview today for a gig, and I passed on it because I got some really bad vibes about it. And it just didn't seem right. And I didn't want to spend an hour in the car going there and an hour coming back, gas, tolls, and everything else, to find out what in my gut I already knew already. So I just think people have to do the best that they can do. And, and I look at someone like you, and I think that you're doing a great thing here. I mean, I don't know how you get all these people to do your show. That's incredible. I think that's great. And they obviously like you too, or they wouldn't do it, because I've seen a couple of these people on there, and they got nice careers going. I mean, you've interviewed some great people, so you're doing a great thing. So I think that's awesome.
Well, wrapping up before I pass the show over to you, let's go to one subject you did bring up. There's a lot of people who I interviewed, and recently, a lot of people start coming out of the woodwork saying, "Yeah, my publicist said, my agent or whatever says your interview is degrading. You're relying." Huh?
You said degrading?
Yep, they said, it's degrading, it was demeaningful, it looks like crap, and it's hurting my career, it's doing this, it's doing that. I really want nothing to do with people like you. But yet, I have on video, like endorsement you did for me, saying, "You're doing a wonderful thing, I will always support you." And the next thing you know, you're saying, "Take it down or I'm going to sue you." And then you're making open threats to me. And then you're doing this, you're doing that, and I'm like, where were you, a year ago? Well, why did it magically take a year, 2 years later, and all of a sudden, someone got in your ear and said, it's degrading, why are you doing an interview with this person? At the same time, you knew I'm handicapped, I have a disability. This is for a good cause and a good message. And you knew all that going in. And then just because someone says, I'm going to give you more money or whatever, to get rid of this kid. He's a cancer. This kid's a disease. You know, I don't understand why people do that. So going on the record, something new. I took from Bill O'Reilly going on the record, but it kind of fits me too. So go. I can't say it with a straight face. Now people are gonna say, "Oh, you ripped it off from the Factor." Now, but going on the record, I want your honest opinion. Swear to God, say anything you want. From the first day you met me, from the first time we did the interview, to 2 years later, now you're back again. What is your honest opinion on me? And you can say whatever you want. This is your time. I'm not kissing your ass. Be honest.
Well, I kind of said it before. I have a soft spot in my heart for people that have any kind of disabilities. I remember the first time that I was on your show, and you mentioned the word retarded. I've laughed at that word before, and I've also used the word before, and sometimes people get offended by that word. No. I wish they didn't, because years ago you used to be able to, like, if somebody walks up and bangs their head into the wall, and they walk away and they bang their head again into the wall, and you say, "What's wrong with that guy? He's retarded." Like he just banged into the wall twice. Once is an accident, twice you're retarded. Getting back to your question, I saw a guy who's trying to make his way in this world like everybody else. I see that you're out there trying to do the best that you can do, and I see that you have disabilities. I didn't know what the disability was when I first met you, and I said, why not do this thing? What bad can come of it, or what is the negative? Could it be a waste of time? Sure, it could be a waste of time. Could this video, what we're doing right now, could be a waste of time. But I don't really think it's a waste of time, because I'm talking to somebody who seems like a really good guy, and he has issues like everybody else. He's got different issues. Life is a struggle, and for a lot of people, it's more of a struggle. I mean, there are other people that have struggles, but they're not as rough as others, And I remember on the first show we did together that you mentioned about something about working in a store. Somebody said something bad about you, and boom, you're out the door.
Right.
And that to me is horrible. That's discrimination. It's unethical. So if I didn't like you, or if I didn't want to do the show, then I would just say I don't have time to do the show, and I that's easy. That's easy to say. I mean, because I'm trying to be as busy as possible, trying to be as productive as possible. I have to make a living, but so I have nothing bad to say about you. I don't think you're a prick. I don't think you're a shithead. You're a guy like everybody else trying to make his way in this world, and the world is not an easy place to make make your way in. And you talk about obstacles, and you're trying to overcome your disabilities and stuff like that. You're working with your disabilities the best way that you can. Or you're trying to jump over things. To get to where you're trying to work around your disability, because the disabilities are not going to go away. But you can try. I mean, I have a learning disability, and part of was a comprehension problem that I had. I know when I read, I like to read magazines because it's short and to the point. Like, to read a book is an ordeal for me. It's not fun. It's an effort. So sometimes I'll read a book, even a great book. I can easily put it down because it's hard for me to read. I do read. I read scripts. I read books and whatever, but it's not easy for me. So we have to. I think a big part of it is that you have to know what your disability is, and then you have to then say, well, how am I going to, because, I mean, I'm 52 years old. I'm going back in time and seeing through my life how my disabilities have had an effect on the course of my career course, and I noticed that certain ways there was a lack of focus, and that's part of my ADD, and I have a short film that's coming out. Hopefully, we're going to be done within the next month or so. This short film we've been working on, and a lot of it has to do with not being able to focus on one single thing. Because if you want to get great at something, a lot of times it takes focus on just that one thing. If you have your focus on a million different things, how can you become great at one? So, part of dealing with something is really knowing what exactly are we dealing with. And then once you learn that, then you can figure out other ways to work around it. So, when I see someone like you, I'm reminded of myself, and I'm reminded of my nephew. I'm reminded of my dad. I'm reminded of different people who have either physical handicaps or mental handicaps. I don't know if that's the right word, a mental handicap. How else would you say that? How would you? Is that okay? Is that politically correct?
It's
a mental handicap. It doesn't sound as good as I'd like it to sound, but it's I don't know. There's emotional handicaps, there's mental handicaps, there's physical handicaps. I'm going to go with that. So, and that's it. And I think that we have to pick and choose what we want to do and what we think. I just want to get involved with things that I feel can move my career forward, or things that will make me feel better, or things that just make a lot of money. So it has to fit some kind of criteria. I have to benefit from it. I don't want to spin my wheels.
Right. How can people follow you on social media? Are you on LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook?
Well, my LinkedIn is like a really business type of thing. It's really not show business kind of stuff. But on my website, which is bretteidman.com, BRETTEIDMAN.com. I'm also on Facebook. I have a regular Facebook page and I have a fan page just with my name. And Twitter at Brett Eidman. Everything's Brett Eidman. Nothing original, just my name. And it would be great if they could follow me on Facebook and Twitter. More the better. And and I tweet jokes, and and even on Facebook I'll put some funny. Sometimes I go from serious to funny to I go all over the whole gamut. And I hope that anybody watching would like to follow me, because it would be great to have them. So.